There are some key questions Ibia manya are real caps one of them Brakofi minim me wa kwantu mu a ase me be ma no enhye da emmo adwuma papa bambedru Ghana na ase ahyase ye adwuma obi nso se Brakofi na say ase ma ho oden akofo minim what exactly it is me tell say na wo ka one of LPMs na wo ka ho asem obi nso timi frɛ Brakofi chale wa moami a asɛm ato me na me yɛma hye me ade asɛm a Brakofi ebe ma na fedi empagya ne mu kraa o me say what is happening with this me be ma empagya ne mu me be ma ayese bi kraa to me ka sɛ ne de no asɛ size no sort and I get concerned say again what exactly is it a trend is it something new what is happening Dr. Nin yamokwaba
Yo, mini amejoso.
Empomboko de.
Idea boko, yankupon shrai.
Yo, that's so sabribia yefrewa oje so na and that question no straight to the point. Dr. Nin will be a waye adwuma ewo edidie kwan a yefa so etumi edesa yade ahodo nyina. Wasan ahyeda ono ankasa no wa kyese wawura mu efa pomuden ho ne de titru any alternative say enye empanie wone operation that type of way no but itumi sa oyade nwanwaso kwan so enam so ama wo mo ekofa aduane foforo bi e de aba efe ne true green food adwen nyina ne se ebe free kabo ho fi se wahunu se homanfo pa yedi nkomo na anu efa ewo ene body ho se omanfo nhwe ni die eye after no a lot of questions have come up so I decided to say quickly some ni di nkomo na yete all these issues no africa but one thing minya ho complaints every emema no hotitu ewa bruchire mu pa no se afi de kwakudo nsuo no se why na dwen so obekọ oye na dwen so obekọ no papa bi besie o se gane ne ho afa ne nsa fa ho dodo o se kai o ma de ne nyina afie agu se ade ne nyina before the action it has already action itself enti na se yedi ho enkomo na yehwe etie ho ase doc enti ma mention ase straight away before me ba me questions so no I know say after your last conversation a lot of people have reached out because me share your public line and video no so krana people are sending questions and comments and wanting to know more. Have you had some questions?
Oh yes. Say Dana no sadana na juna na start. It happens a lot because most of the time these questions remains unanswered.
Okay.
In your earlier submission, you can say the alternative, The alternative say the unim be interventional pharmacist and Mr. functional medicine doctor. And I depend be bringing him about functional medicine. Only say Arabia, we get to the root of the problem. Typically, so we see any year, and answer and Kayatro, Talon or the amount in function, Yanisa, if you say DNA, how the internet ya was maybe
Talent no yeah, I can one say me yeah.
Yes.
Trump say why any research you
Yes. It is an here. In Tenamsan, your labs in your day but you use the protocol because a holistic route, meaning say you should be because Nipeduana interconnected into Tia or an interest of Tina and a bicrane effuium. That's what functional medicine does. And Intina Yasua and BA and Jumedian AS on.
All right. Mamimra specifics no eso. Some are asking one question our comment section ho na running through here. It looks as if in fact I asked that question during the interview class to say they say who they ni view because and I say watching I say obi crab a trust and chambeka from makra yenya home. Are there changes in times and ama yenya wedi no eba and I say there is a particular reason.
Yo, on say Niama Bibri Assassin. I don't believe say in Yanano na as a sami brave. Of course, chemicals in the idea abemu over the years. Say the last time I make us say, me na sign me we na no di but we need chair because the dynamics have changed. So that time na toxins, na heavy metals, na agina, na ni eduane. Oni na wo. And as I say, so we are asesa in human asesa. Me na no a carpenter, me nya carpenter. Edwuma me most of the time 12 hours Monday through Sunday na me edwuma. Into the dynamics are a little different from Sambren Abisi now. No? And into last week, or say last 2 weeks, Kolebu report say, Omo Motigan Ghana Kwana, Sebi, Omon driver, and also Monica na, Onkomona Temkrano, more report of over 5,000 cases of sugar problem. Into a global epidemic, a idea a honey pan baby, and Ghana Kwahase in and who can say Nkofo Fresh, Mema, Mpema Gronis Hanium. It's something that has happened. Last week, prior to interview, me Nkofo Baby, our office hire. Their intent was not anything to do with sugar. But you check no more pre-diabetic and also more diabetic. I have an instant A1C check said into a final something that is happening within us because the Bible said the lack of knowledge my people perish. Said the night nipan be brain say body no any problem. It can be a problem if you have a sugar related problem. And I said, metabolic issue. Into a marketing be a nima ye jar to horse and they see I can say. Or Barbie friends, maybe the last 10-15 minutes here, or Barbie free. I believe say Switzerland. Or you be some questions in area, the last question of the class so and say, me kuno impemo a problem into sugar nana, and I'm so on tea coffee TV about so of 170.
That is good. Let's go straight into that question because it's a general question. I've had a lot of people, those who will meet you personally and will want to confide in you. Because they know, say, we could feel no and I know, said doctors, and so I'm for trust them to that extent, and so they share personal, confidential information with you guys. And but specifically, it looks like a brochure for me true. It is becoming a problem. What is it? Me me say say aduane ehye fridge heat na freeze na di as a fresh food Ghana yenye di no na bia wo mo enya wo ha probably that could be the reason or some reasons I don't know. That is why I decided to say no medically let's find out whether also I observe that trend say yes worldwide but niti true meme webrichi.
Yes, the kind a sedentary lifestyle. Over 30 years, I'm out in a Krumhano. Of course, I was young, I didn't have a car. Over the years, I'm out in Hano. The Biamete car. Into ono affect here because the moment I move your body, it affects a lot of dynamics. Exercise is a big key. Now, the thing is, I say no son a brew or stress or her. So Ghana Monday through Friday, to my party. And tea party need the DBA and a woman. I said you can do that. And then will be programmed. You know, I say abroad the entire year Saturdays and I know is a reason because any horse the most of us bills and the idea queer until you're overly stressed. Keep in mind, so you're stressed out, the body releases a hormone, if any cortisol. So cortisol queer and sorry and a more sugar cholesterol. Until what the moment of cortisol no be cholesterol, stress hormone no be cholesterol, a sugar.
And she say nipa bia oyɛ stress da onipa bia nankasa pɛsɛ stress na ɛsɛ wabrɛ wo hu ho no ɛpɛsɛ ɛma wo aduro na ɛsa wo yadeɛ enti sɛ aduro no na wo to den wo sɛ friend cortisol no
no need the stress hormone
ne din ne na ɛnwanwa
cortisol yes and to stress but the body releases that stress hormone through gland be a friend's adrenal gland sitting on top of the kidneys so that's what it does. Now, and anything that will be to me, I stress no when diabetes because we are stressed cortisol no than sugar. Into only enough pancreatic function and as a consistently no produce stress hormones. Once sugar na cholesterol, na cover problem bro.
So let me link it. Cortisol not about unipedia mo. Eba ne say no affect obema yo.
Okay, very good. So sugar cholesterol it affects a friends of vascular system. Baby
moja
Bobia moja na fa.
Okay.
Yeah, bobia moja na mu no. Ye free be nitric oxide. Nitric oxide no ono na my blood flow, ono na my blood pressure for form. E be to say Viagra say. what it does, let's say a holding nitric oxide and sana enko, so that's why you have the erection. And into the baby to manum Viagra, any erection, but not the libido no from edge in any hole. Into two different mechanisms. Into so sugar no kosora, you increase your blood sugar and it affects the vascular system. And into na will be a way diabetic be an or erection problem because mujano baby moja na sugar na hosana na will set the vascular system. Yes, nitric oxide is not produced. Also na cause of blood flow, the vasodilation in asefo. Into an arteries baby moja na say pliable, potokase kasa pliable. Ghana because I say elastic, as I say. But some
say to me be in it to me sign
yes, exactly. But some moja na musa sugar na musa na emu be ding, I stiff.
Okay.
It's stiff na moja no ntumi endilate. Into once erection no crabit me background na once a small. Once I na small because there's less blood flow. Into that's what the stress is able to do. The stress hormone by way of cortisol. That's what it's able to do because it can cause you to have higher levels of glucose. And in turn, will increase your insulin because anytime you have glucose because say insulin also because insulin na glucose in free moja the narco cells na store be in the liver need into that stress hormone can be a reason why man be brain have a problem. And of course, most people will catch us say feel to say the BBA automatically the stress hormone comes down. For example, say, oh yeah. When you're stressed out, that's why your deep breathing exercises are. And more stress hormone automatically comes down. Yes, and it affects you. Keep in mind, or stress hormone cause sugar pay. As Bearman, I did about from your testosterone. Testosterone is soon a man me a Bearman and a mama about you say, or then a ma Bearman Ginaso. Testosterone from one, it affects your libido. Or you're able to marry the most sexiest woman in the world, and so on. Besides that, so vascular system also say moja flow now affect erection. Most of the time, two things that drives that erection is animal is your hormone, a hormonal, completely hormonal, testosterone, and the vascular system by way of cortisol, a bit damage of arterials.
And come away, I will find a day. You're being live, so we will give a number out. It will not be a video, but audio, so that people can call in, especially Ghana former man and my web So to me, I deal with its specifics because it is a big problem based on the number of feedback I get and the number of people who are questioning why to me just a but the young one say ubedru Ghana na fi ukunya obesi bushmeat bia sesi anu wakum no neat not just one okono but we are control more emfa and so per the explanation I would no stress number one stress no ba unipo we stress sa wa bre unu hwano odwensi so ne ade no a na nipadua na nkasa ape aduro se ode sa oyade aduro no ode sa oyade sa cortisol no ba nipadua no mu a eno nso ema wasikire kosoro ebewie no na ma entin a ese moja afamu na ma oba ma itumi epegya ne mu no nso a na eno nso ho aka eno achi na asan ama o testosterone level no the amount ye bema the amount utimi gina so the amount wakono titu wompamu no na eno nso so ate na ma afi de uni akono kra then it leads to the others. Am I right in this summary?
Yes, no.
Okay. Enti Owabrichi man stress ya na because eno nso nti eno Owabrichi.
No, in functional medicine, I can be say whatever the cause is, it's so hard to chrono. For example, we are stress into whatever you have to do to curtail that and has to be done. And yes, there's no way around it. Say a problem now will be why you have to find a way to deal with it. And your friend will be pattern interrupt. Pattern interruptions, one can so why you're stressed. In Tibia, one can so walk, and also be a yoga, and also be deep breathing exercises, and also be meditations. Ni na no a distress hormone no ever form. And into number 4 apply Sanyoman, and it works because the moment obey Sanyoman, automatically the stress hormone comes down, and the moment the stress hormone comes down, your T levels ups up, and of course you have the edge and Sanyoman. And Intina will be able to make for US, I could Ghana, or touch it down now because only problem with my function. But so it doesn't take 5 years and not 2 years. It's very quick, a quick reaction. And into now your meditation, but we bones why calm. And into now walk about. So when you require any problem now, we free fear akonantiaba. Bones babano never be calm because the stress hormone has come down. First, we need to get to the root of the problem. What is causing you to have stress? And that's what has to be dealt with. Most of the time in conventional medicine, in mainstream medicine, so why stress and I treat drama, but the drone is not addressing the root cause. Because madam years ago. And no problems or no antidepressant. Or no drone is an engagement. Until the time you don't know why and I'm saying yes, engagement because the problem has not been dealt with. And to nipple break antidepressants so I'm warm. And also crying long term they can give you issues. So you have to understand the basics of why you are going through that. Until always we have to address the underlying issue. What is causing you to be stressed? Until you identify suddenly the dynamics change.
Identifying the problem.
Yes.
If you are why identify, but there is very little you can do.
Yes.
A human or and definitely 1 year juma won't mean to any bills. So obey them. We know how do you deal with such a problem? As also when you know.
Yes, so what you cannot do anything about, you shouldn't be overly be stressed about it because then you have to train yourself not to deal with it. And because I'm a gentleman some time ago, or so don't worry about BB. I don't want to mean the blood pressure will form, and it's very true. Then you have to start training yourself to just ignore it. And inside here, it will continue to give you problems. Just stress, I'm on high blood pressure. Just stress, I'm on sugar. And they keep stressing. Many will be here, baby. Now, sign up or your office clerk. Now, so office clerk on your gun. What he does and says, we call it our second crana. Now, I a big deal, or VP, or Betrisa, or Corner, or Banner, or PC back and forth. You say, I didn't call it out sick. You shouldn't make it a problem. You're crampon and higher, but what we are office admin, woman, how. So these are some of the things. It is don't even worry about it. Or not, you need training yourself as human beings to be able to deal with it.
Dr. Enin, quick one. Enin, spelling, mama, is it E-N-N-I-N?
E-N-N-I-N.
Okay. And Bobo, or number, mama, I want to post it down as maybe as we speak. Sebeya, Omanfo can pick it at any point without waiting for the end of the interview. 571
300 5039.
5039. But mind you, sir, offer what the America code nobody can say winning America with me direction on WhatsApp. Na with me eno edin komo aboao. So say asem way asem because the problem eba ewo efiefia hudomu. Does it happen to a man so? Almost stress, does it really have? Because a be more so why be man also to me born homo den so person fire or ban also say my bread.
Yes, affecting muscle. One of the things BB and Nipaduana is very, very similar and is very, very interconnected. It is a Bema sugar cholesterol affecting arteries at the same thing and it affect your basal. Now, in talking about this, remember Bebre, one of the questions I got for Bebre, it beside a lot, prostate. Okay. And in talking about prostate, it be answer beside said now massware now. So sugar cholesterol, irrespective of whatever might drive the sugar now. Yeah. It affects your prostate because sugar cholesterol or insulin so cholesterol. Okay. So insulin cholesterol affect a member in a way to affect your prostate. Okay. Yeah, your free be aromatase. Aromatase, potocasam, you can say biological catalyst, an enzyme. Into member what it does, and it's a converted member testosterone, man, estrogen. Into testosterone, na aromatase, insulin was na aromatase, increase aromatase activity, na ama bema testosterone na nka wo de beye wadwuma no na akoye dane mba hormone or no kofa problem. The same aromatase in mba no so no a converted potocasam be a friend say androgens aye mbema hormone no e ma ne kodane mba hormone more until yes mba nya more estrogen potocasam ka say estrogen dominance Mmaa hia estrogen, mmarima hia testosterone, but mmarima wɔ estrogen bi ba ketewa bi, mmaa so wɔ testosterone ba ketewa bi. But if there's that dysfunction mmarima no estrogen no kɔ soro, bon sɛ mmarima no bu hɔ akora na n'anu fa bobɔ, afei na ne yefunu yɛ kɛseɛ, mmaa no so no estrogen no kɔ soro na afei de affect wɔn. Nti mmaa no ɔno na ɛbɛyɛ affect wɔn nya biribi a friend sɛ fibroid. Yɛfrɛ biribi PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Saa deɛ no so no ɔno na ɛma mmaa no awɔ problem na ɛsa na ɛsɛ mmaa no ɔmo wɔ a lot of testosterone, mmarima hormone no bi ɛni sɛ nka yɛ bebree saa. Ɛsan so kɔfa biribi a friend sɛ ovarian cyst. Ɔno na yɛne mmarima no ɛka yɛ prostate. Nti these are all things ɛyɛ very interrelated. Nti wɔanhwɛ yɛ wɔbɛkɔ wɔ doctor hɔ bi a na watwerɛ drama, but then the issue is an underlying issue. Now carbohydrate ne drive saa nneɛma no more. Nti but just not carbohydrate, the metabolic endpoint, because cortisol eventually back with any sugar kɔ soro, insulin bɛkɔ soro na kɔ trigger. The same way no consumption of carbohydrate, whether say refined carbohydrate, ultra processed, and now say response to whole food carbohydrates and eating come about body, because response to body and young one say would body sugar kɔ there, insulin bɛkɔ soro, it will trigger the same reaction. Into a lot of things, into man bebree hɔ a low libido is because of those issues. So these are things that are interrelated, that affect both men and women alike. It's something that we have to understand that this is what is going on from a physiologic level. So that's what we have to do. Affect both a man and woman in the same way. Bema do benya erection issue, obano so benya libido ne vaginal dryness, and these are all things that translate from either cortisol and also overconsumption of carbohydrates.
Obi deɛ wɔsɛ me deɛ yɛsɛ metwa bi na mani agye metwa bi na afei deɛ ma yɛ fine na neɛ ɛhɔ no ɛna obetumi ɛhyɛki ɛnte saa oboa ontumi. What does ntwabie no got to do? Ɛno ɛyɛ den ɛna ma ɛne nti na ɛbɛwie na afei ayɛ ne habit.
On say your friend be performance anxiety. Nipa ni bebree no, when it comes to saa act na aya udwendwen ho bebree pe beduru ho pe no mo ntumi am perform. Nti alcohol no raise saa de no.
Adwendwen no.
Yes, nti alcohol no ma wo ye be ma nti na afei de once we start say wonom alcohol na ansa na waye. But one thing that nipa bebree nim say alcohol no etumi affect you negatively, because alcohol no ema bibia na make us friends aromatase no wo member with testosterone etumi koye more estrogen wo oba no so no alcohol no increase aromatase activity no ama wo estrogen no koye more testosterone na akofa problem abroad. As a matter of fact obi bi say last week after your program no say into local bitters ni bia ni alcohol in general no affect your prostate. Absolutely. So one is going to affect your prostate because you have more estrogenic activity. We are but now you're bad because you look more feminine. Only in a science say you have more estrogenic activity than more testosterone activity. Into alcohol no in a bit can give you that and that's because now which would face the music but with time now why dependent. We are dependent on the alcohol. Obi or alcoholic be no erectile problem. Obi or alcoholic be prostate problem long term until they check it. And these are the things because alcohol no a endocrine disruptor, a cell hormonal system. No ma be man be oba who ban so be ma. Until man na omunyan do menopause and young girls who want some more PCOS. Some man na obi hu omwani mu funi na no. Saa de no too much testosterone mema hormone do so mu and the also affect menses. Too much bleeding, estrogen dominance, into a very related. Into you need somebody who understands the dynamics and yet a drug. Remember when your prostate problem, you will be at the moment. Common drug and EBA also. Your friend said tamsulosin. It does not fix anything to do with the prostate. All it does is say so prostate and BB save me, and then in Fifina, Homada dem a friend urethra or then Johnson in film. Into prostate no into BBC. Into sad tamsulosin, no man. Na ebie na just a relaxation no wetumi adwon so at the neck of the bladder no enti tamsulosin no go ho so office on na ebe se ne prostate ne yare da bi enyo no so wo person fix prostate na niema bi na cause one if we be estrogen said na make no if we be DHT only a dihydrotestosterone e mema hormone no e wo testosterone kakra na wo de ho ban no na akọ convert the first will be 5 alpha reductase. Too much glucose, na insulin kosoro na ama 5 alpha reductase a dose be great. Now convert to testosterone na be DHT and I said dihydrotestosterone on ema apempem paiba on na ma prostate enlarged. Into insulin is a big driver, but besides aduane no kra no stress ebetumi am insulin akosoro because e sugar so kosoro only one hormone pe and it mad form, that's insulin.
Ma wo sɛ kwasi mensa kapito apampam no paa na ɛpa na asɛ apampam pa na den
because your genetic predisposition will be okay. It's most likely be a because but onya in temper obi genetic but nipa ne fa no sadie no because that DHC no and your test how bet you test you won't know how the money idea but the key thing is say genetic but this is what I'm talking specifically. I'm talking about related to metabolic health to say the home
Rana mene obi kasa no wo kire se ono so no wo sa problem ni bi pa ye mema mo agro we say no odi true green food ni bi na aboa no but aside that no okai se o say oba mo center ho na obeto aduru bi o se mo ato ni din se malamo sa lagio me kai din ni papa whether that is the nickname amodi amano I say eboa no pa wompam like true green food afede mo aye malam so aka ho
one of the things in say obi bia na so oba kind of crash obi bia na wo sugar problem bia na or some type of erection issue into oba hana your of course your prescription there or ha ya trauma wa obeje and your natural one or ha yene ya to me the brother bi na di side in to no say malam onya ono a wotumi face bibia enti mema ne bebre no for true green food especially do Friday and Saturday sir you have say a very busy bar or true green food pe na waje na malam account just so that it will help them. And interestingly nipa ne bebre no me wo Ghana for ne bebre o ha just by diligently changing their diet na be kakra na malam no mu hia but omo obi wo so hia support make us say we do in the 60s this annual man into the true green food na waje malam na ka and it works so that said they will to me a page or muna why to say the way you use Viagra no but the key concept and I say because your Obibiana na what's our problem now and your sugar problem one of the things a nipa be braining him say erection problem a marker and I say barometer for cardiovascular health meaning say we a bear man young 30 40 50 60 na say who start to say we problem with erection there's problem with him. It's most of the time no so we start to say once your blood pressure is slightly elevated and that's a very elevated into more blood pressure issue and they tend to have issue with erection simply because of that interconnectedness it's very important and most people also most have blood pressure issue last week can I make and say a friend said carbophilic hypertension and I saw doctor Nabetro say essential hypertension once a carbohydrate the moment you start once or master tip I mean when you put almost Ghana no munya obi na muye na amfa but omo ba no be check no mu pre-diabetic the moment omo diet ni sign na pe also madam no me hia bi enti addressing the aduane no is foundational then so person support and then no supporting just by virtue of your age.
Okay to say mamemfa this question oya bema ohwe nsisi a nempamu agro no aye bibie o anopa oni den ewia oni den enwumre oni den yes owetumi order true green food mo nuane your breakfast type ewia type and then enwumre type which is the best which we recommend but ebia na onya emeto enibia what advice will you give?
Advice I made first of all, based on my training, I like to test before I make a judgment. Even though I'm not allowed to do that by virtue of my time, I like to see things. And minimum week aside. Now, I say, from on problem with Ghana and or the buy and the cortisol and semi break. But advice I made say, I'm not the type who wants to sell things for blood work. I'll give you a better sense so that I'm able to help you. I just don't want to waste your money, waste my time. I must say good name is better than riches. So that's my approach. Now, or Germany, or Canada, or another state other than Virginia. Now, or Sadia now. Advice I didn't carry amount say more doctor in Shimuye. Me know because I prior to say me jump on a call way or say the doctor say bibia you okay or your bar or say bibia you okay, but you depend on now hoshisheno. Odi kabunana now hoshisheno. I mean, no, your science said there's a problem. Sometimes, we sugar no bit to my normal, and so no way, diabetic issue, and I say, a metabolic issue, and then they saying, yes, we sugar no bit to my normal, and so now metabolic issue. I'm saying, we didn't come up with friends say fasting insulin. Most doctors ain't check it. So we check out fasting insulin. That's a bro fiber. I say we start to pay attention. And then we should be labs from Switzerland. Then they know 7 point something, but the A1C near 13 point something. A high. And our unison can be expected say insulin super very high. Not just saying too high, but a brody a penicillin. What it means by that, and I say the pancreas and say, menenu kasai, the banner and my menoye 3 women kasa Ghana. Indeed, these are some of the things. Indeed, I said, no, say only blood pressure, no only sugar. What is driving your issue? And I said, low T in the crown. I said, I'm stress in bit my answer, carbohydrate in bit my answer. Until you have to find obia or tisa to help you. So when to me, yes, idea. The first thing is the first order of business is start taking care of your diet. Take all the carbohydrates out. Taking out, breakfast. Me, I don't advise obia 3 times a day minimum. Once, maximum twice. In the first meal, me feel say we be around noon, simply because on upon we be our sugar by virtue of the dynamics na cost ni pedino. Imbrentiment ko bebre. Then we last meal we did at 6 p.m. Sanya money no so when you low carbohydrate meals a beboa. For example, breakfast
or 6 p.m. yeah walking.
Mm-hmm.
Average 6 p.m. as I'm now can Ghana 6 p.m.
because
average 6 p.m. no na afi na ebi ekọ adwuma. Ebi akoduru adwuma mu foforo afi na obehye ne night shift ase. Afi na ebi nso be abeduru fie late. Is it to say odidi wi a ontwen ansa na wada some number of hours bi ansa na wada and I say
it take be 3 to 4 hours ansa na digest it. Until we this 6 hours.
Okay. Then so that's it.
Okay. Now, only one thing. But so more night now, the dynamics also change. Night, idea maybe that thing I did for about 4 years. Now, so night, CCMU say is known to be a carcinogen because we night ni peduan by circadian rhythm no say woda and award in nama would ye until once a body name fancy focus on because a meaning say you are crying within. In Tessa, a more stress hormone cosro. So we united to most people make I say years ago. We share man be not say night no me young it me na because night the money diabetes and at that time that mean functional medicine so I didn't really understand. Then it made sense because night we are nighter. Where so done I wonder why actually but your stress hormone goes up. It's a stress hormone in the cover problem until night so most people they will be eating. Sometimes you're not supposed to be eating, but they will be eating. Until a lot of things go on, be what crana. And you don't know what the crana, no sugar and cassa was by virtue of say all your night. You get it. Into una say what time and say okay, say me so more period in the day between 12 to 18 hours I won't need it. Into what all your night, when say okay. The time now we up now we yes at time no be name but that year won't need it. Until you have to be able to have at least minimum of 12 to 18 hours I only did. So me shifting by daytime so we did this 6 p.m. when did you the next day 12 not 18 hours on a trim I don't know because there's an lower glucose lower glucose now lower insulin so that drives animal winning in but we night now we did no more juice this animal no go no juice na only did and upon no be the fufu and son that into be a wise side na chip your back also sugar problem and also high blood pressure problem and also some type of metabolic issue. Until here will be a expert or TISA concept where keep in mind in mainstream medicine in there, you can't say, oh yeah, diabetes metformin. We don't address our intricacies in this animal but open here will be a quadruple not TSA. And that's why my specialty in these two, me a functional medicine practitioner, and at the same time I did a pharmacy for 8 years and send me do some papers. So these are all things that because maybe a school from all these things was not in the know until say me started saying maybe training per one dealing with people, dealing with real time cases. No, so okay, into that the foundation to mean the day around the clock. As a matter of fact, Nipediana is not good so we did it all the time. And to me say I am firmly against snacking. And catch a crano or that which snacking is animal, it has to be part of the meal. And so to be more body break without eating. And so animal because only dear ulowa sugar ulowa insulin. Most people no back just me did once a day. Once a day near the ordinary CD. Fruit or do one channel on can your real one channel count. But anytime we be home other than water no sugar cost. So we did it twice a day. I'm talking about 2 sit down of eating, 12 noon and 6. Into so whatever place now. When I start to say adjustment, you know how to work with your schedule so that you are able to maintain that 12 to 18-hour eating window. Because most people now, on my night actually, they have a metabolic issue, and on my country say blood pressure or so, and I say more sugar problem, sugar pan a dose, because most of them they'll be eating in the night. I advise somebody, first me at noon, last me I try 6, which me did 4 cry okay. And the same thing applies. Now, if you are not a problem, then say the last week, make who be a gun and he said, then obey the so media mocha crap. Bruni because a medi chicken. So the chicken now for non-starchy vegetables. Vegetables no cry, you do her sugar no dawson. Into now what's the with non-starchy ones and ebony greens and broccoli, cauliflower, any cabbage in the onion. Then a friend saying dinner you could do salad. Now the light soup be account. These are all things you can do. And most of the time, I any Ghana and internet and be brain come here say the DNA because your diet in predominantly carbohydrates. I don't know about true food to buy. But so metabolic issue, you cannot just do these things and get away with it. In the last couple of days, and my years prior in agriculture said, not meaning, but if I'm starting to say, may you say, never be correct. Diet is the key, diet is the foundation. I say, yes, Santa in Ansana. So I say, pancreas in the Abia, Uber here in Ruby from and say, be a sophonurias, I don't know, about pancreas may produce insulin, I can wait in their fight sugar now. It will be a case near different, but the key thing is, the last week, the research said after age 30, so you're black or so you're green or we'll start to say, so exercise, a lot of activities, be a Monday through Friday. They do not permit us to go to my exercise. Yes, I'm going for they can get away with those things. But sometimes, some go for no blood pressure. I mean, serious exercise Monday to Friday, and so no blood pressure draw. But so now corrected that with the exercise. Now, these things doesn't happen. You have to understand it. You have to have an expert. Now, to understand this, I will walk you through. I believe in testing. I believe in looking at the labs. Even though my time is so crazy, I try to scan people's labs and send them our recommendations because most of the time, the other culture, any their work, their work blood work, completely different. And that's how that thing come about. It's true food you have to start looking for low carb alternative. You need to say bruni, meaning say the protein no be entry. Then your side order and I say a side dish your low carb options. Or only one of the finest way which may one inside it becomes a problem. They really think say they are doing well. Go have more with the fruit and about my smoothie. If we are no more send this smoothie, almost fruit, no fruit juice. You're pre-diabetic. Last week said one person quite the minute casano or person say you're okay, you're good. This animal is okay. You're okay now, but still you're pre-diabetic. But the people also said they are hearing these things for the first time. Say, okay, I hear we saying it here. And then sometimes it's not even about the product and I say your body no response to it. For example, make my mom body back, you better check and be sugar 100. Also, there be a 120 and answer 110. Baby, we never median go 200. Be out in the back of but be a 180. Still an a high. It's telling you that your response to sign money is different, and for that reason you have to curtail it. But bisa Jose, nipa sign di body check or more sugar, and also could be a more checking sugar. 1 year diabetic. And internet will be beyond most Ghanaians now. But me person country like the bomb so at once or because you pre-diabetic, not the machine. me officer de bia me hu we checking am say we diabetic but basically officer ni say we diabetic because on feel symptoms bia but sa nyoma na edi nipa bebre nya na last week Kolebu for reporting we just Kolebu nkwan no Tema General Hospital mbai Obuasi General Hospital mbai Northern Region Hospitals mbai into Kabuma is a global issue and that's because we are lacking the knowledge in sa nyoma kitin way.
Yembre no aso but doc obi be person be ritual na what be a watch no tester onye na on famra for you to guide na fe onhunu true green food what and what obi here on number no sign bobo mami bio na fe for the entire ya me pen ne bobo no so ka ho no say obi wo ho a o hwe me kai mene obi kasa ya from a coupon school for the blind no se break of videos na ya hwe pa na me say na mo ye de na hwe o se o ye hwe na just say they listen to it but not seeing whoever motive voice no ntia na I prefer say obesia bo number no bio e de amaye mbae obi a otie without watching no betumi anya all those details as well.
Yo, number ni 571-300-5039. Ono ye WhatsApp line. Nipa me benefit say my personal line, and my personal line. Business no WhatsApp line. Mostly a lot of people move from outside the country. Into your WhatsApp number, but your office line. So now, also to make this point clear, no. Nipa ni bebre no feel say yeti ha na ye hwe go for lab ni amon nyoma da be nyansa ne ye edwuma no more like I said ye hwe nipa more functional medicine clinic and more be your prescriptions we added I bibia me feel say because ye wo nipa ni bi wo ha onya de omoje me nkwa na ya na me je am pese me screen lab na me ye but one of the things in say nipa ni bebre no I pese me class apart no if you say e incumbent on say hwe omo lab ne ye more ye da bi sa ne mo ne edwuma say doctor ne ye na ni nyina nso ye na at a fee into said the ana ye pese ye bo nipa no but keep in mind we get on the average every morning we get about 2,000 plus messages and a lot for us into go has so you know say you respond and say be a because who person who understand there and yes say be said there we Google say oh we normal no we win it doesn't work like that you're thinking because it be said make us a minute there no most of fasting insulin is 7 high, but it's too high. But I'm trying to sugar is too high. So the way sugar is and I think fasting insulin that was so high, but it wasn't. Me as a clinician, me as a functional medicine doctor, I tell me say the pancreas no problem and pass me be say this question. So me say you don't know no just say the pancreas and say well I'm here you born insulin. Into Saudi balance into me and just say I said that, but it's something that
when your time that is the assurance you
time
say the time
for factor because you uncle as patient you go through and see your time I don't know idea sometimes I am Muslim miscan very quick when I have the time because we have a lot of people who have paid to see us our money under care just to establish that why
okay that's good and you know but say obi to me anyway offer all the other details ni bia na obetumi abisa
yes obia and some kind say you know hwe nipa baby it doesn't matter so New York or New Jersey we are able to help you guide you through it because meaning say nipa ni bebre no are not still not in the know say me say diabetes we make me and I say me say sir sugar na ma me prostate and member ni bebre no ade ba kwa me kan say me dey betwem for member no titun say e member ni bebre no omunim so mo prostate no kra no starch nuane no eka ho now ade ba akoso ne say most member no bema bia most bia o we fru kakra bia no some member no bebre no we prostate problem no now ade ba kwa we dey free a year American say most of the time they say call your doctors no mo check be friend say PSA PSA no is not enough. On a friend the prostate antigen test no enye enough. The entire enye enough when they say so how
PST and PSA.
PSA. PSA no you show mo gem to make sure say
prostate antigen
prostate activity no. Now na you hwe most of the time the cost will be bria na bia na prostate na enlarge and I say cancer and I say baby. But bema bia no say you check your prostate at so more than 3 times. That's all that no 4 times, 5 times, maybe a PSA no or check here is not enough. You have to be PSA velocity. Or no check it shred the rate of PSA no increase on your back. Ye fe be prostate density or no over prostate na kasa number na absolute number na now they divided by be a friend who say volume, but volume no at least all the ultrasound na ye doctor be you good be and say why was idea no and host on say yes unya side numbers we na say enye conclusive then you free be 4K score on to be here and you free back be so say PHI on the a very expensive test on bet sure say be your prostate in head no ubetumi abenya cancer and this animal. Keep in mind say prostate cancer and then the second cause of cancer a kuni papa a mema pa but 100% preventable. 100% preventable. Until me money be brain no more sebi ya mo mundre from flow mass and I said tamsulosin you are not doing anything to the prostate gland. So person also say stress you need to curtail the stress. Say a excessive and I say consumption of carbohydrates na so limited into bibia no prostate or so and you treating as a diabetic whether say enlargement and I say cancer and that's what most men don't know. In the amount tamsulosin one number 10 years Samsung in the area and say a baby no adrenaline so it doesn't fix the problem. In fixing the problem, you have to start taking care of your diet. Into most people now, or prostate issues, they find a pre-diabetic. Maybe bit like 90%. Diabetes, pre-diabetes, any high levels of insulin for no more prostate issue. And said the last week, genetics load the gun or lifestyle ne pull trigger. Into ABO prostate cancer in the corner. And that's when your prostate issue, we won't be to prevent it, 100% preventable. Into so a bear so over 40, you need to start checking. And some numbers and some parameters and as a biomarkers so we be at this why a minimum of 3 tests, PSA test and 3, and sign will determine. Most doctors into one I say, I need you to check my PSA velocity, the density, as a phone. Will be you good no do become.
Dr. Nin, yɛda ase paa ne obre ne nkyɛkyɛ a wode ama yɛn. Sɛ ome say last week conversation ɛfa ɛwɔ honey ne bɔɔdeɛ ho no a wohwɛ wɔ YouTube a wobɛhu sɛ top a link na ɛda ha no video na pop it up no just click on it. It will lead you to that video betumi assign ahwɛ so that you will be on the same page. Na etumi aboa. But say share on Facebook, you can equally check the comment section. Obehunu say last week the no at the comment section or your opinion or betumi na wahwe no so to understand komo yedi. Abusiafo hwe wedidi mu ye. Enti true green food no e ka ho asemo a na enye say bia the only doctor oton wo nenso ba beto wo a o say or share condition or sugar level baby a no menton ma any doctor in it, and that is to tell you say and yes say or sika any anka friend na no sisa no dia bro then so no he always want to make sure say you are doing the right thing, and that is something recommendable. And inti doc yebo abaso ewo sa kwan no so na yebestre so say ya no anya ho abotre call no so no de edu ba bia bi betumi agina so saa won say breche ya na onhye da nyo bi ni nkomontie bi wo ho a onya saa no onye hu se oboa no nso a na wabaye ni nyame ti ni wura hyew mu ti wo so betumi akasa saa ya na odi ache na nipa ho adwuma de but also koso amesro ka hu no se bebre no awachire tu kasa kakra no agyabi ka gyabi na wetumi just go straight to the point and then get your answers. No ebeboa ye pa na yetumi akoyenim doc yeda asibio
Yemsmedas sure
yo abusan for yemfa o ensia na yen na wase hwewadidie mu ye na nyi chema me nyi cha apomodin wom ehun hia pa. Thanks for watching.
Kofi TV.